Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth. Is it true that your dad has a ringside seat, but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah.
Can you believe that there are some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Indy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion. And I'm Tiffany Paige, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called again? Podcast, period. Or you're ugly. Period. Power approved. Alright.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the pre-party or after party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your premier source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is J Cal, and I'm representing Game Changer Wrestling today for no other reason. It's just because it was a clean shirt. And today I'm here to talk to you, hashtag NWA fam, about all things wrestling when it comes to said National Wrestling Alliance. This is not FDA approved, ladies and gentlemen. You might be subjected to drug testing afterwards. I don't know. What can I say? It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It means that I'm loaded up on my Dubby. Yeah, Dubby. I'm here to kick ass and take names and talk NWA. If you're with me, great. Join us in the chat. If not, sit down, shut up, and watch, because we're going to talk wrestling all day today, or at least for the next hour. So thanks for joining us. I see a lot of my pals are already in the chat, so I do want to say hello. We got Championship Wrestling from Jeremy, also known as one of the other Alliance guys. They'll be on tomorrow talking about some MLW United Wrestling Network. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Willie Bowen with his joke of the day. Hey, J. Cal, Tyrus loves seafood. Every time he sees food, he has to eat it. I might suffer from that same problem. Just powered down some flaming hot Cheetos not too long ago. Not on the diet plan, not on the meal plan, but delicious nonetheless. Bobby Bettito's in the house. Welcome, Bobby. Media Mike is in the house, formerly known as Media Matt because I got him confused with somebody else. Media Mike, how are you, sir? Let's see. Rosville's in the house. What's up, Roz? And thanks for the compliment on the GCW shirt. I went to my first GCW event earlier this year. The main, what I thought would have been the main event was Nick Nemeth versus Matt Cardona, which turned out to be the opening match, which was fine. I think they both wanted to get to Disneyland later that evening. Bobby also says that he hopes that all of you guys had a great day today. Well, thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that, man. I actually have had a freaking fantastic day right? I got to go to the gym this morning after taking my two little ones to school. I got to work on some of that cardio. I'm trying to get back into ring shape. Not really. I'm not really training for anything, just to be healthier, you know? And then the wife and I went to Costco. It's always fun to go to Costco, get a slice of pizza at Costco. Also not on the meal plan, but highly recommended. And then that's it. Now I'm here talking to you guys, talking to NWA. We'll get to all of that in just a moment. Noob is in the house. Mike says, rock the W fruit punch. You know, Mike, right now I'm drinking Big Energy Tears. I like to keep the same flavor till it's gone. I don't know why. I don't like to split back and forth. So right now we're drinking Big Energy Tears in my house. And then I am going to start getting some more of the hydration packs, though, because right now we've been doing Liquid IV. We've also bought Prime. And, you know, the wife used to love Liquid IV. The kids love Prime because Logan Paul's famous, I guess. But W pays me, so I'm going to drink W. Damn, bet your ass I'm drinking W. And so are my kids. We're all going to drink W. Going to be W household. I'm going to change my last name to W. It's JW. Here talking about the NWA. Sometimes I just pop myself. I'm sorry. Yes, breaking news. J-Cal confirmed to GCW. Yeah. You know what? And I know it's a few months removed here, but since we're talking about it, GCW, man, I was very skeptical. Let me try that again. I was very hesitant to go to the Game Changer Wrestling show because what I believed was Game Changer Wrestling was neon light tubes and hardcore deathmatch wrestling. And I wasn't down with that, but I had an opportunity to check it out. And so, you know, I wanted to see what the fuss was all about. I knew that Nick Nemeth and Matt Cardona were going to be on the card. I know that Kerry Morton was going to be there. I knew that they had some local SoCal talent on the card. A guy named Starboy Charlie, who I've heard a lot of good things about. There's some Lucha Libre guys on there. Arez, who I saw in Mexico City. So there was a lot of things that were egging me on to go. And I was delighted by the show. I was very happy with it. I don't think I would have gone had I not seen so many familiar faces on the card. And I had a great time. It was a good show. It was definitely entertaining. And so I would say, like, if you have an opportunity to check out Game Changer Wrestling, you should. You should. You know, if you want some variety, like the thing to me about pro wrestling is I am glad that there's so many different outlets right now because, you know, if all we had were just the WWE, I think wrestling would be tedious at the moment. And I know Willie Bowen isn't a big WWE guy, but right now the WWE's probably been the best it's been in a long time. The whole chase, you got Rock back, you've got Cody trying to finish the story, you've got Mommy as your champ, as your women's champion. You've got the Usos getting ready to go at it. You've got it's the Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody and Seth Rollins. I almost called him Tyler Black. You got that's your main event for night one. And the show, it looks like it's getting better week after week. I hear nothing but good things about what's happening on Raw and SmackDown. And so, like, if that was the only option you had, I mean, I get it. But like, it's not the only thing out there. You know, I've been to in the last year, I've been able to go to a Game Changer Wrestling show, a WWE show, AEW show, actually a couple of them, Lucha Libre shows, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, NWA, local independents. I mean, wrestling is so, at this moment, hot. It's hot. And you could literally throw a rock in some areas and find a wrestling show. And I recommend to anyone who's watching right now, do that. Go take a rock and throw it across the street. And if you find a wrestling promotion, go check it out. Give them your $20, your $15, whatever it is. Enjoy 3 hours of pro wrestling. And maybe you might find something you like. It's not all just one thing anymore. There's so much variety in pro wrestling, even in the promotions themselves. I mean, we talk about the NWA. There's a very vast heavyweight division. I mean, you've got EC3 as your world's heavyweight champion, but he's probably one of the smallest guys on the roster. You look at some of the other names on the roster; they're huge. Trevor Murdoch, Thrillbilly Silas Mason. Both members of Blunt Force Trauma, both members of Kratos and Odinson, right? Just thinking, Tom Latimer. These guys are all big, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 250, 300. I mean, this big guys. And I even mentioned Jay Bradley or Wrecking Ball Legursky or Magic Jake Dumas. I mean, there's a ton of heavyweights on this show, and most of them are really good. But then they also have a good women's division. The junior heavyweight division is kind of stepping out. The tag team division is kind of starting to take shape and form. There's a lot of great wrestling in the NWA. But what I'm trying to tell you is, like, there's a lot of great wrestling everywhere. Yes, that's it, Lamb. Exactly. So for NWA shows in the last year, I went to the tapings directly after the 75th anniversary show. So in the last year, the last calendar, if we say 2 years, it sounds a lot more impressive. Like, look, 2 years ago today, I was in Nashville for the anniversary, or for the Crockett Cup, right? 2 years ago today, I was in Nashville for the Crockett Cup. A year ago, a couple weeks ago, I was in Mexico City for the World is a Vampire tour. And last year in August, I was there for the TV tapings and the 75th anniversary show. But yeah, I've gone to everywhere, man. I could check off New Jersey as a state that I've watched wrestling in. Arizona was a state that I watched wrestling in. Nevada is a state that I've watched wrestling in. Of course, California, right? But even Illinois and Missouri and it's starting to catch up, man. It's been a lot more places, so it's been a lot of fun. Willie said, will we be watching JCP on YouTube? I don't think that they have a new episode this week. In fact, I was just trying to look for it right now, and I'll confirm it right now with the Joe Kazana Promotions on Facebook. I don't think there is a new episode this week. In fact, I think they're on hiatus for a minute. Let me see. I don't think there will be a new show for Joe Kazana Promotions until they tape again on April the 26th. So JW on commentary. I just picture Bobby the Brain Heenan, but less funny and less entertaining. Bobby Batuta said, did you see Hammerstone at that GCW show? Yes. That's the second time that I've seen Hammerstone. No, not the second time. No, it's probably like the fifth time I've seen a Hammerstone, but it's been a while since I've seen him. And that guy is bigger than all out. Like, he's so much bigger than I remember him being. I think the last time I saw him was at a Championship Wrestling from Hollywood taping. But I've also saw him with the Ring Warriors show in Vegas a few years ago. Hammerstone, obviously he signed with TNA Wrestling, but he still has the ability to wrestle on some of the independents. I don't know if he'll be doing any more Game Changer shows, but it was fun to see him while he was there. Bobby says anyone can check out United Wrestling Network too. Absolutely. And there's multiple United Wrestling Network promotions and shows. Of course, Championship Wrestling, Derby City, all happening in Long Beach, California right now. I've been to both of the first two TV tapings since they've been back. They did a live event at the Irvine Improv. I know they'll be back there in May. But those events I don't think are televised or at least recorded for television. We might see them pop up on YouTube or maybe on the they partnered with West Coast Wrestling Promotion, so maybe they'll be on that platform. Noob says wrestling has been cooking as of late for the last 2 years. Yeah, I really think it has, and it's crazy because there was so much uncertainty when we all were locked in our homes during COVID and running out of toilet paper. And the one thing we could count on was that there was pro wrestling to watch. And, that was, courtesy of the WWF or WWE, AEW. But then, like, even Dave Marquez, he was doing this primetime live in Long Beach. I got to go to that first taping. And I don't mean to brag, but like, we didn't know if wrestling would ever get back to normal, right? Like, we didn't know what was going to happen. And all of these things have happened since. And wrestling, I feel like, is booming. It's booming. Like, I know there's a lot of tribalism in the wrestling fandom, and there's, well, you can like WWE, but you can't like AEW or vice versa. And I'm telling you, it's all bullshit, man. Just go and watch what you want to watch. I mean, there's nothing more awesome to me than turning on an AEW program and watching someone dive or try to dive on Samoa Joe and him walk away. I think that's the best thing I've ever seen. I could watch it all day. If someone wants to send me clips of that, I'm encouraging it. I love that stuff. But NWA might be my favorite wrestling promotion to watch, or the United Wrestling Network. But that doesn't mean I can't enjoy Cody Rhodes cutting a promo on The Rock. That doesn't mean I can't enjoy, a matchup between Josh Alexander and Alexander Hammerstone. There's room for it all. Hell, this Friday night, God willing, I'm supposed to be going down to TJ to watch some more Lucha Libre, some Crash. And then next month, I'm going to go back and watch some EWN. So enjoy, brothers. I'm going to go to New Japan Strong in May. I'm going to go see Poil Del Mar's wrestling show next week. Enjoy wrestling, guys. Don't let the tribalism win. Just go watch what you want to watch. Check it out. I was really going to, let me try that again. Getting too excited here. I was going to try to check out the promotion that uses, what's their name? NTL, I think. It's the promotion Steve G and I talk about all the time in here. I was going to try to check that out, and I wasn't able to get out there, but I think Polka Dot Pam was there because Chris Adonis was wrestling. Also, I'm hoping to be a part of the Epic Pro Wrestling in Los Angeles. We're kind of helping them get that show going too. So you'll see and hear a lot more of us hyping up events, because that's what wrestling is all about. Should be fun. Bobby's looking forward to watching tonight's episode of Power. I am too, man. I haven't checked it out yet. It's on the queue. I'll be watching it later. If you guys want to watch it with me, we'll be doing it on the Discord server. The link is in the chat, or no, the link is in the video description. If you haven't already signed up yet for our Discord, let me know. We'll put that in the chat as well. The brawls in the supermarket were fun to watch about toilet paper. That's why I always tell people, vertical is fine for shorts, but if you're going to catch a fight, let's go horizontal. Yeah. Hoping to see some Ironheart wrestling in the near future. Yeah, I think Ironheart, again, another solid promotion. And I can't read tea leaves, but David Marquez has been mentioning some big things happening. I know he's been in some meetings. It wasn't too long ago that Reality of Wrestling announced their working relationship with the United Wrestling Network, and who knows what's going to happen next for them. I'm hoping it's something big. I'm hoping that maybe your boy Jay will have to go down to Houston to check a Reality of Wrestling show. I don't know. Jeremy says, if you're not watching United Wrestling Network and all its affiliates, you're probably using family reunions as a dating pool. The brother's stiff, man. Stiff. The great Hisa is here. What's up, Hisa? Thanks for checking us out today. So, yeah. Wow. And it's crazy. We have so many of you folks watching on the X app, and that's cool. I appreciate you guys checking us out. Although it really helps us out better if you're watching on YouTube. But either way, it's great to have you guys here, and feel free to join the chat, man. We try to be super interactive here. If you haven't tuned in before, my name is Jay Cal. I have been writing about the United Wrestling Network and the NWA for, probably like 20 years. Probably like 20 years I've been writing about the National Wrestling Alliance. And I started writing with SoCal Uncensored about 2003, talking about the NWA, talking about 01, talking about TNA wrestling. And and we've been doing a podcast for a while now. Houston would be a great flight, or Memphis. See, Lamb, I see what you're trying to do here, buddy. You're trying to get me to go to Memphis, and Memphis? I wouldn't mind going to Memphis. They might ask me when the red carpet rumble is, but yeah, Memphis. Lamb reminds you, and remember, guys, Lamb also writes for alliance-wrestling.com. So although Lamb has never, well, that's not true. He has come on the podcast once before. We did a live stream with, we won't talk about that, but it was fun. Lamb reminds you to check out the other guys tomorrow night. They start at 6:35 on the East Coast, 3:35 West. And, of course, Thursday we do a live stream. Not sure what we're going to talk about because there's no new episode of JCP, so we'll have to kind of just mail it in. We'll figure it out. Sean says ROW and SmackDown are the only shows I'm liking at the moment. See, and that's cool, man. Reality of Wrestling's doing a pretty good thing over there. The United Wrestling Network World Champion, a friend of the show, Danny Limelight's been putting his boots down in Reality Wrestling. They used to have Will All Day, Ryan. What was their champion's name? I want to say Genesis, but I don't feel like that's right. Anyways, they have good things going on in Reality Wrestling. If you've been checking them out, cool. If not, you should. They hype up the Memphis barbecue. I mean, Lamb, it's supposed to be one of the best places for barbecue. I've never had true Memphis style barbecue. I was in St. Louis and I didn't even have ribs, man. I messed up. I was in St. Louis and I didn't even eat ribs. I did have barbecue, but it wasn't ribs. I think it was like a brisket or something. It was all right. Bobby Bettino says Tiffany Nieves and Ruthie Jay are great in the NWA's women division. Both of them are top contenders for the World's Championship, the Burke. Yeah, I'm going to get to that in just a minute, Bobby. I think those two ladies are going to have what I'm hoping will be a great match tonight on POWERRR, which is available on the CW app if you live in the United States. Sorry, Lamb. Sorry, Tim. Sorry, Fee. But we'll be watching it in our Discord server until, someone from the CW gets into our Discord server and shuts us down. But keep that between you and me. That's our little secret. Shh. Anyways, so there's a couple of events that are coming up this weekend, and I just want to kind of profile some of the shows that are coming up that have direct connections to the NWA. And my lovely wife. Thank you, lovely wife. Sorry, lost my train of thought. The shows that are coming up this weekend, we know that did my graphic not make it up? It did not. We could fix that. I think we can. Yes. Coming up Saturday, March 23rd. Also my daughter's birthday, so I won't be you won't see me online a lot that day. It will not be at the Tri-County Sports Arena. It will actually be at the Harley Race Academy. They did have to change the venue. They had the cancellation at the venue. But it's going to be a night of champions, the NWA versus World League Wrestling. Again, this happens this Friday in Missouri. I'm not sure exactly where because I know the venue changed, but you'll see some familiar faces on that poster, specifically, members of the Southern Six, former World's Heavyweight Champions, and even Tootie Lynn Ramsey, very own Tootie Lynn Ramsey, St. Louis's own. That card is set to scheduled to have a World Heavyweight Championship match. EC3 will defend against Superstar Steve. Now, I don't believe both titles are on the line. I just believe the 10 pounds of gold will be on the line in this match. Also in action, the WLW Junior Heavyweight Championship, Moses, the Deliverer, will defend against Kerry Morton. Now, this is interesting because Kerry Morton has talked about wanting to graduate into the heavyweight division, but I guess an opportunity to win a title is all it takes for him to bump himself back down. There's going to be a women's tag team match. The Paige sisters, the Henry sisters, Kenzie, Paige, and Kylie will team together to take on the WLW Ladies Champion, Tootie Lynn Ramsey and Skylar Sparks. In the NWA corner will be Aaron Stevens. This is interesting because Stevens has not been a manager for either Kenzie or Kylie, so that'll be interesting. The NWA National Championship will be on the line when Thrillbilly Silas Mason takes on Raheem De La Suede. I got to see Raheem De La Suede last year at the WrestleMax Pro in St. Louis. Not St. Louis, it was Columbia, Illinois. But he'll get a shot at Thrillbilly and the National Championship. Then there's supposed to be some matches that are specific to WLW, like Dysfunction versus Austin Mulatto and partners to be determined. Kenny Alfonso versus Mason St. Goods. Cameron Brené, who's a former NXT star. And then also on the poster, I mean, we have, we see pictures of former World's Heavyweight Champion Trevor Murdoch, former WLW World Champion Trevor Murdoch. Also, Jack Stane is on the poster. So I imagine those two gentlemen will probably see some in-ring action as well. I'm looking forward to that one. I hope you guys are too. Obviously, it's not going to be available via the CW app. Maybe WLW will put that up on YouTube. But if they do, we'll be sure to watch it and talk about it when it does come out. I see some more comments. Let me get to your guys' comments. Oh, yes, technical difficulties, the tag team. Yes, I did see those guys, actually, and I was super impressed with them. I feel like they are the right kind of tag team for the United Wrestling Network. UWN has, obviously, Che and Tito as their tag team champions, but there's like the Krusty Crew and now technical difficulties. I feel like that tag team division could heat up very, very quick for the NWA. More comments. Sean Mega says Tiffany will be the face of the women's division soon. I think Markova has hit her ceiling. Wow. That's stiff, Sean. Stiff. Bobby says, I hope the longest reigning number one contender for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, Jay Spade, he hopes he gets a shot at that title soon. I don't think we're gonna, to be quite honest with you. I just don't think it's gonna happen, which I think is kind of funny because that relationship with Wildcat was hot for a minute. They did 2 shows back-to-back nights in 2022 in November. I was there. It was Hard Times, and then it was the TV tapings following. And since then, they haven't done a single thing together. We haven't seen either member of Hawk Ari back in the NWA. Jay Spade has been a forgotten memory for NWA fans, and I just feel like that kind of sucks. I would have liked to see those guys have a little bit more of a run in the NWA. Noob says Bobby Batito, both of them should have been number one contenders, number one challengers for the NWA women's title, but instead we got Natalia Markova, and the NWA didn't know how to book her like a star. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it is. Bobby says Aaron Stevens hasn't managed a woman wrestler on NWA Power. No, he hasn't. He's been managing Blunt Force Trauma, and then recently he's been managing the duo. He appeared in the corner of Talos and Daisy Kills. Whether that is something that continues to happen on TV, we'll have to wait and see. But that's World League Wrestling. Again, that's coming up this Saturday. For those of you who are in Missouri, I hope you check it out. I know on our Discord we have Fuzz and we have What Would Luthez Do, and I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those guys attended that event. Also coming up in April, we have the TV tapings. Of course, we know that Max the Impaler will be part of the Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling event that's happening as part of the WrestleMania weekend, the GCW collective, repping my GCW right now. Then we've got the 2 sets of TV tapings that are happening on, April the 12th and April the 13th. Those will be TV tapings happening back in Tampa at the WEDU Studios, PBS. Then the next big event after that will be the Harriman Heat 2. That happens on Friday, April 23rd. And in the first match announced, which is probably going to be the main event, you've got Silas Mason, the Thrillbilly, taking on Jay Bradley for the Joe Kazana Promotions Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. I think this is going to be what we call a hoss fight, and I'm here for it. I'm all about that. I can't wait to see what happens next. And then, of course, May 3rd, we go back to Exodus Pro Wrestling. I forgot what the name of the show is. I had it on my screen earlier, but that's going to be happening soon as well. And yeah, here we go. I think I just found it. Let's see. The next event is called For the Fame. And we know on that event, Saturday, May the 11th, we know that Mims earned himself a shot at the world's heavyweight champion, EC3, if he's still champion. Of course, that is 2 months away. So we don't even know if he'll still be champion by then. We're hoping that I don't know if I'm hoping. I don't know if I'm hoping that EC3 is still champion by then. I just think he's gonna be champion by then. And that leads us to tonight's episode of Power. Now we're still at the studios, right? We're back at the what's it called? The PBS studios in Tampa, and this is the lead into Hard Times 4. Yeah, Hard Times 4. And so tonight's event is a little, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because first and foremost, it's advertised 2 promos. And why are you advertising promos? Now I get why you would advertise Thrillbilly Silas Mason, right? He is your national champion. I don't know if this is going to be something taped from back at the TV tapings in January, or if this is going to have something that is more connected to him and the GoFundMe account. And of course, we did mention that we mentioned last week that Thrillbilly Silas Mason, his home caught on fire, and he lost everything. Pictures of the house, looks like it's completely destroyed. Obviously, he can't live there anymore. And they started a GoFundMe to help get him back on his feet. If you are able to donate, if you have the means to donate, I would appreciate it as just one person to another person to donate to somebody like Silas Mason. Not only is he the NWA national champion, not only does he provide lots of entertainment for us as wrestling fans, but he's been kind enough to come on the show in the past, and he's been a very pro Alliance Guys podcast. So I would highly recommend getting on there to help him out, to support him in his time of need. Now, I don't know if the NWA is going to mention this at all. Of course, it's tragic. I don't know if the time fits. I don't know if they were able to get any more content for this episode. But I do believe that this will have something to do with his announcing his intentions for the 10 pounds of gold. And I think that we're going to see something pretty exciting today on Power. But on the other side, on the other part of this, it's what I don't understand is why are we advertising promo time for Eric Smalls? I get it. He is I want to use the term little person because I don't want to be offensive. He's a little person wrestler, and I know that he had made an appearance on Power before, but I don't think he's actually wrestled a match yet. I don't think the NWA is going to introduce a little person division title, although they used to have one back in the pro wrestling organization era back in, before 2012. So what is Eric Smalls going to talk about? Hell if I know. I hope whatever they plan to do with Eric Smalls, I hope it's entertaining, but I'm not holding my breath for that. Oh, Media Mike popped me. It's going to be very little promo time. Yeah. Bobby Bettito says Silas Mason will be great against DC3. I'm hoping that's what we get. Like, I haven't watched Power yet. Maybe you guys have. Don't spoil it for anybody, but I don't know what's going to be spoken about tonight on Power. And if he is making that charge for the 10 pounds of gold, I'm here for it. Let's see. Corrigan is weird. That's why. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe they should hype it up more who appears, but I have zero idea what that person was. Yeah. Lamb, the same. Like I've seen him. I know he came out and punched somebody in the balls, but I don't really know what I'm going to get tonight with that promo from him. And again, Silas Mason Silas Mason is a promo machine. I mean, if you guys have seen him on the live news events, hyping up events for Joe Kazana Promotions or the live NWA event last year, the guy just did a killer job of putting the brand over, putting himself over, and looking like $1 million doing it. So, I have no doubts that his promo tonight will be entertaining. I'm less excited about Eric Small's promo. Then also, of course, the 2 matches that we have scheduled for tonight. We have Blake Bulletproof Troop taking on Brian Idol. Now, I don't have a problem with either one of these guys, right? Like, Blake Troop has always been kind to me when I've seen him and met him in person. He's always been a cool dude. Brian Idol, I don't have any kind of connection with whatsoever, but he is the promoter of the FTW Wrestling. He's currently the World Wrestling Council Television Champion. He recently defended that title in Chicago at the NWA Chicago event. So Idol is a champion for another promotion, and he is a FTW champion as well, I believe. So I'm hoping to see something positive with him and what they're going to do with him. I'll be honest, I've not been a fan of Brian Idol. I think he's very wooden and laconic, meaning I don't buy it. I don't buy him as a star. And I hate, I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but I just don't see him as a draw. I've not once went to a wrestling show and thrilled that Brian Idol was on the card. They didn't do him any favors by starting him off as Mercurio. And I feel like he hasn't really grown much from that character. They put him in some matches with Tom Latimer, and I had almost zero interest in those as well. Blake Troop, I feel a little bit more positive about, but I feel like he's still pretty green too. Blake Troop, I think, has a ton of potential, ton of upside. I just don't think he's there yet. And this matchup, I look at it, and I'm not all that excited for it. We know that Troop's most recent conquest included submissions over Koa Laxamana, Joe Alonzo, and his match outside of the NWA and CCW. He lost to Cha-Cha Charlie. So, I don't know what their plan is for Blake Bulletproof Troop. I don't know what their plan is for Brian Idol, but evidently that's the match that we're getting tonight. And then, of course, I don't know if this is the main event, but if I was booking it, would be you're going to have Tiffany Nieves taking on Ruthie Jay. And it's just being billed as a singles match, not a number one contenders, not anything. But I feel like a match like this is definitely going to have some implications for the women's division down the road. Now, just to hype up what Ruthie Jay has done since. So this is a kind of a rematch since November. Like, these two have already faced off before. So you have La Princessa taking on the 5-star athlete. The last time Nieves won that match. In the last 6 months, both of these ladies have secured title shots against Kenzie, Paige. Both of them have come up short. Ruthie Jay got the match at Samhain. La Princessa got the match at Paranoia. But neither one of them have gone on to claim the Burke as their own. Ruthie Jay is currently the Coastal Championship Wrestling Women's Champion. She has split her time between CCW and the NWA. Currently, Tiffany Nieves is the Ohio Valley Women's Champion and the Mission Pro Champion as well, making her a two-title Tiffany. Two-title Tiffany? Tiffany 2 titles? I don't know. I'm working on that. We'll have to workshop that. But both of these females are very talented, and I have a lot of faith in both of them. But I feel like Tiffany Nieves is slowly becoming the standard bearer of what women's wrestlers should look like in the NWA. I'm excited to see this match. Again, I feel like it's going to have implications for the women's division after I'm drawing a blank. After Hard Times. Now, the interesting thing about this match, and maybe this match does play into Hard Times, because we know at Hard Times, Ruthie Jay finds a tag team partner, and Tiffany Nieves finds a tag team partner. And we know at Hard Times, the these 4 ladies squared off in a tag team match with Reka Tahaka making her on-screen debut and La Rosa Negra making her return to the NWA. So this match might have some implications that will lead to Hard Times. And, of course, Hard Times should be coming soon to the CW via Power. So I'm thinking maybe that this might be the last set of the studio tapings, and next week or maybe the week after we'll get some of the Hard Times pay-per-view or Signature Live event. It's a Signature Live event, Jay. But that looks like that's going to be this week's episode of Power. So, of course, I want to get back to you guys and talk to you about what you think is going to happen at this show. Let's see. Oh, some funny questions, funny statements here. I'll get to all of them. Noob says, I have no idea what is going on with the current state of the NWA. Noob, join the party, man. We're all trying to figure it out. You've got 3 minor league affiliates, territories, if you will. I really love what Joe Kazana has been doing. Seems like their content distribution on YouTube is taking a bit of a break. Exodus Pro has been filming all of their matches. They were supposed to be a part of the Premier Wrestling Network before they changed their model, and we haven't seen any of their matches yet released on YouTube or on a streaming service or anything. And then you've got FTW Wrestling that was in Florida that did a live event in Chicago and did feature a lot of the NWA Chicago talent that was said to not be recorded for pay-per-view or YouTube or anything like that. But then we saw the matches being displayed on a projector at the live event. So somebody was recording something. They were putting up content somehow. So what's going on with the NWA? I have no idea, man. We just kind of have to sit back and wait for the ride, I guess. Chris Drummond, big Chris dog. He'll be WrestleMania weekend. He says, harsh question to the secondary titles. Oh, let me say that again. Harsh question. Do the secondary titles mean anything when everyone throws them away for a shot at the 10 pounds of gold? Now, damn it, Chris, if you spoiled the show for me, I'm not going to be happy with you, brother. But in a sense, yes, because if you don't have that title to throw away, then you don't have an opportunity to cash in for a shot at the world's heavyweight champion. Now, the Lucky 7 series was designed to be a way to build yourself into a shot at the world's heavyweight championship. The national title was always considered the number 2 title, or number 3 technically, for the NWA's board controlled championships. Now, this was long before Billy Corgan became owner of the NWA, even before our pal, oh geez, now I forgot his name. Damn, not Chris Ronquillo. Wow, I'm just drawing a blank on his name. What was his name? It's gonna drive me nuts. White Lavender Jones. I can't think of his name. Sorry, you'll have to forgive me. But he also had the same kind of ideology when it came to the titles. The NWA, from like about 93, when they reintroduced the national championship to the NWA, you had the national title, which was your number 3 on the ranking board. Your number 2 was the North American championship. And then your world champion was obviously the top dog. So the number 1 contender was always the North American championship. But now that title has been removed from the annals, that's been removed from the roster, it has been sealed since Billy Corgan has purchased the NWA. That national championship has always been meant to be the number 1 contender. At least that's how it used to be. Now it seems like you have to cash in your title by trading your belt up. I don't hate that. It doesn't bother me. And it's just a way to get that title match to happen. In the old days, you just challenge for the belt. Even Nick Aldis had mentioned that Chris Adonis at any time as national champion could have called in a title match against Aldis if he wanted it. He just never did. So to answer your question, Chris, is it harsh? Are the titles still have value even though they throw them away? Absolutely they do. Because you can't get that match without that belt. You can't throw away nothing to get a title shot. You need something. What is your opinion of the Vampiro storyline? I like it, man. Vampiro's out there, brother. He's a weird dude. I remember watching Vampiro when he was in WCW as part of like the Deadpool, and that was like it was like Vampiro and the Great Muta and ICP, and it was weird then. It was cool, and I dug it. And Vampiro coming back to the NWA, at one point managing both Mecha Wolf and Bestia, La Rebellion, was cool. I don't know what they were trying to do with it. It seemed like it was just a long, exaggerated feud with the Brothers of Construction and specifically Violent J. So it didn't do a whole lot for me at that point, but I feel like they might be building towards something else. I've seen photos, I'm sure you guys have as well, of Vampiro kind of creating this whole dark, sinister group, and I'm here for it. Like, why not? Let's go. It can be fun. Jeremy says, I'm sure whatever Eric has to say, he'll keep it short. I'll see myself out. No, that was good, Jeremy. That was great. I love it. Noob says, Blake Troop is a great MMA fighter, to be honest. Not Ronda Rousey bad, but he's awesome. Yeah, I mean, look, great is again, I'm not trying to insult Blake Bulletproof Troop. Blake Troop has always been a good dude to me, so I'm not trying to be insulting or negative. But I mean, let's not say great. If he was great, he'd be in the UFC fighting big money fights, right? He's a good MMA fighter. He's had a career doing MMA fighting. He's had a career calling both MMA and pro wrestling matches. His wrestling career is still young. He's still very early in his development. He could be something really, really special. Right now, I don't know if they're leading him that path in the NWA, and we'll have to just kind of wait and see. I'm hoping that he does turn into something bigger than what he is right now. But right now, it's not always the best wrestler that I've seen. Bobby says, I'm interested to see where Blake Troop goes after this match against Brian Idol. Well, I mean, they're kind of hinting that him and Silvio becoming a regular tag team, and I think that's the worst case scenario for Blake Troop. And that's not to put down Silvio at all, but you know, they put Troop and Jack Stane as a tag team, and those guys couldn't get the ball rolling. They couldn't get the job done. They couldn't win the titles. And if they can't win the titles, a former world's heavyweight champion can't get the job done. No disrespect, Chris Silvio, but what chance in hell does Blake Troop and Chris Silvio have in getting a tag team title when Jack Stane and Blake Troop couldn't get that done? Noob says, Brian Idol on the hand, he's not a draw, and I may be a fan of Natalia Markova. That's who I'm supporting. I don't know what they're doing with Brian Idol moving forward. It's hard to tell. And that's the thing, like, you know, Gary Horn has famously told me, Jake, how you just have to wait and see the stories. And sometimes he's right. And sometimes he's not. And that's just legit. It's true. But, corrections and retractions. Leela Gray is the OVW Women's Champion now, not Tiffany Nieves. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. God, I'm hip. Okay, Leela Gray. So excuse me. Lamb says, shout out to Hebon, who makes the match graphics. Gives the match a bigger feeling than they actually are. I love Hebon. Hebon goes to the same gym as I go to, and Hebon lives like maybe 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes, like 5-10 minutes away from me. Hebon literally goes to the same arena that I go to in Mexico, except for he gets press credentials and gets on the floor to take photos. I pay for a ticket and sit up in the nosebleeds and record the whole thing. But I love Hebon. Noob says Tiffany Nieves is great and should be the next NWA Women's Champion. As far as Natalia Markova, she has her chance to go after the women's title. And like I said, NWA might drop the ball on her soon. Yeah. DKM says, Lamb, wait until Thursday. What happens Thursday, DKM? Yeah, it was Bruce Tharp. Thanks, guys. I couldn't think of his name. White Lavender Jones. Wow. Hard to build talent when they keep relinquishing titles to go after Sweet Charlotte. Well, first of all, I hate the fact that Joe Galley keeps saying Sweet Charlotte. Sweet Charlotte was the name that Adam Pearce gave the 10 pounds of gold. That wasn't a commonly used name before Adam Pearce, and it shouldn't be used after Adam Pearce. That was what he called the title. Let EC3 call the title whatever he wants. The lady in the lake, the sword in the stone. I don't give a shit. But that was Adam Pearce's thing. Let's leave that with Adam Pearce. This is today's NWA. Hell, today's NWA doesn't even recognize Adam Pearce. They don't ever mention the fact that he's a former 5-time world champion. They didn't acknowledge anything that he did in his tenure with the NWA. They still don't really acknowledge that. When you see NWA social media wishing former champions happy birthday, they never mention Adam Pearce. There's an extreme disconnect from the Lightning One era to the Pro Wrestling Organization era and the International Wrestling Corporation. They've done that by design. You don't ever see them mentioning Rob Conway either, or mention, they mention Colt Cabana, but that's because he wrestled in this era. So I guess what I'm trying to say is let's leave that to the past. Obviously, the NWA has a rich and historic tradition, and they'll do callbacks to Ric Flair. They'll do callbacks to the old NWA, but they don't ever mention modern stuff. Like we hear them in passing mention Steve Corino, but they've never really talked about the former world champion Steve Corino. They don't really mention Christian Cage as a world's heavyweight champion. They don't mention they mentioned Raven when he was on their program, but then you don't see them acknowledge Dan the Beast Severin. They don't acknowledge Ken Shamrock or any of the TNA era champions. So I don't know. That's just my thought on it. Excuse me, I need to get some water. So when did Layla Gray win the OVW championship? Because that's news to me. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up right now. Cage match. Yeah. And that's another thing, too, now that I'm looking at cage match. Is it weird to you guys that a lot of talent from AAA has now joined Pro Wrestling Noah? Like, Daga is their World Junior Heavyweight Champion right now. Oh, wow. So Tiffany Nieves lost the Ohio Valley title back in December against Freya the Slaya. And Freya the Slaya is a 3-time women's champion, and she lost the title back in February to Layla Gray. And Layla Gray, did they say that she's... Wait, hold on. They say Layla Gray's in AEW. Is that right? Interesting. All right. Well, there you have it. But yeah, so again, tonight's Power is looking pretty exciting for one match and really one match only. I'm not too excited about the second match. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong. Then, of course, I want to acknowledge, too, that we have some pretty big events happening for the NWA. And that's, I guess, part of the byproduct of the territory system is it feels like there's something happening each and every week. Last week was Exodus Pro. This week it's the joint show with World League Wrestling. Next, and then after that, we have shows in April for the TV tapings, and we also have the next Joe Kazana Promotions event. So there's a lot of continuity still happening. We still haven't heard anything about the Crockett Cup, and that's curious to me because, again, I know we are in a signature live event world, right? And I don't know how well tag team wrestling will play out on a month of TV tapings as they go towards a Crockett Cup. But it was only 2 years ago I was in Nashville and I was there to see the Crockett Cup and saw the Briscoe brothers win that Crockett Cup, and it was, I don't know what we're gonna see next, but it feels like there's kind of the NWA is missing something if they don't go and bring the Crockett Cup back. And there's still also, we have to, we're only in March, and there's still at least 9 more months to the year, or 8.5 more months to the year. We still need a Crockett Cup. We still need an anniversary show. And I don't know how these are all going to work into the calendar for the NWA. Of course, like 2 years ago, Crockett Cup was in March. And then last year, I believe it was closer to April or May. So we'll just see where they're going to slot this at. Hard Times has been, there's been 4 hard times, and I think they've been in 3 different months. We had November and January and February, and then I think this year we had it March, so it's kind of interesting. And then Bobby Petito says, I'm looking forward to see which wrestler will face Colby Carino next for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, man, if you go out there and read spoilers, you might already know, but I'm not going to mention it. But there is some great junior heavyweights on the roster already. We know that Mecha Wolf had a shot at Colby Carino recently, and he didn't walk away with the title. Colby's been a very staunch defender of that title. How many matches has he had as champion? Let me pull that up for you. Colby Carino. Colby Carino is taking international title defenses. Colby Carino has defended the title just over 19 times, and I think the number is actually closer to 20. In the NWA, he has defended it against Jack Cartwheel, Matt Vine, Mo Jabari, Joe Acasio, Axton Ray and Gustavo, Mecha Wolf, Yabo the Clown, and those were just his NWA matches. And of course, he's been defending at PWF. He's defended at NFC. He's defended at ETU. And I know it's been other places too that I don't have results for on via cage match, but we know that Colby has been a very active champion, one of the best, representing the NWA very, very well as a World Junior Heavyweight Champion. And if his time does come after hard times, it will be a sad day for me, because I felt like Colby Carino really earned the respect of the Junior Heavyweight division and did a good job as Junior Heavyweight Champion. I think that's going to wrap us up for now. Of course, tune in tomorrow for the other Alliance guys, as they'll be talking, like I said, MLW and the United Wrestling Network. I'm sure they're going to be looking at some fantasy booking. I think they're going to be talking a little bit about Danny Limelight and his run as World Champion. UWN doesn't have weight classes. And then, of course, on Thursday, it's an undetermined show yet. We're not sure what we're going to do, because we were planning on doing another Joe Kazana watch-along, but that's not going to happen. But I'm sure it's going to be fine. It'll be fine. I think we'll have a good time. In the meantime, if you join us on our Discord, if you're not on our Discord, you know what? I will get you that link right now so that you can join us. And the wrestling talk never stops. We keep the conversation going. Let me see here. And the link is right now in the chat. If you are not a member of our Discord, please join us. Our Discord is, like I said, a very welcoming community for like-minded wrestling fans. We talk NWA all day, but it's not just limited to the NWA. All wrestling is talked about. And if you join us tonight, immediately following this live stream, we'll be watching tonight's episode of Power, which is not exactly it's our secret, but that's going to do it for us again this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You really do make my Tuesdays a lot more enjoyable. And until next time, hey, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The